What up, everybody? Oh, we got some new faces in chat. Humpy and Dumpy, welcome in. Nice to have new people in. I'm almost there at that 1K mark, guys. That's pretty awesome. I thank you guys all for helping support the channel as much as you can and always being there whenever possible. You guys are awesome. Like button activated. Yes, thank you, Matthew. Sinaloa es mío. Bienvenidos. Welcome. Yes, it is. Nice and sunny today. Even though we got some surprise rain yesterday when I was here. And during the evening, like about 8:30 or so. Just a cloud full of thunder, just dumped some rain and left afterwards. It was a clear sky. John H. Official. Tempsack. So wait a couple more minutes to get a couple more people in here. Oh, I bet, Sinaloa. That's pretty nice out there. At another beach. I've never been there before, ever. Oh, hey, thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, shit. That would be cool. Throw some switches on it. I know my brother had a lowrider bike. I never thought you could put switches on a bike. Yeah, for the most part, it's all right. I mean, it gets me everywhere, point A to point B. I got my ultra bright light right here. I got two emergency lights, and my light on the back. And this little thing right here, it holds my phone while I'm riding around. I appreciate it. Thank you. Um, Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. We waited a couple of minutes. Okay, this is chapter 2, guys. This is the growth of Pearce. Jimmy Pearce's discovery of gold in 1894 and his subsequent filing on his claims in early 1895 started the stampede into the Sulphur Springs Valley. The Commonwealth mine was born. Men uprooted their families, lock, stock, and barrel, and often even their homes or businesses, and moved. Tombstone, in decline since the flooding of its silver mines, was especially hard hit, losing many of its residents to the new town known collectively as Pierceville, Piercetown, or just plain Pearce, as it became known with the establishment of its first post office in 1896. Investors came from all over the country vying for the opportunity to obtain wealth beyond a man's dreams. Caucasian Sasquatch, welcome in. All right, wipe them big ass feet before you come on in. I'm just kidding with you. The Commonwealth brought not only gold and silver to its investors, but also provided good livings for the townspeople. Businesses flourished, families grew and prospered. The year 1907 saw a population upwards of 500. According to the business directory of the time, the main occupations were mining and stock raising. Other businesses included restaurants, a blacksmith, a butcher, livery, hotels, saloons, attorneys, and general merchandisers. Whatever your population required was available. Pearce thrived. Ellie, welcome in. Count up, caveman. In the 1880s, John Brockman was established as a successful businessman in New Mexico. Upon hearing of the Pearce strike, he made an offer of $250,000. The Pearces accepted. All he had to do was raise the money. He gathered a group of 4 men as the initial investors: Daniel Moreau Barringer, Louis Barringer, Count Portales, and Richard Allen Fullerton, Penrose Jr. Richard Allen Fullerton Penrose Jr., born in 1863, was from a famous Philadelphia family. A Harvard graduate with a doctorate in geology, by 1895 he was a professor at the University of Chicago. John Brockman approached him at the Pearce property. After the two visited the mine site late in 1995, he was in. He would enlist his friend Daniel Moreau Barringer, also as a Philadelphian, as another investor. The fuck? Yes, please subscribe, everybody. Help each other's channel grow. In 1896, the Commonwealth Mining and Milling Company was formed. Richard Allen Fullerton Penrose Jr. was president. Daniel Moreau Barringer was secretary-treasurer. John Brockman was manager, and Louis Barringer and Count Portales were directors. By 1897, the Commonwealth had paid off its bond to the Pearces. Andrew Young Smith was born in Scotland in 1869. Effie Anderson was born in Arkansas in 1868. The two met in New Mexico, where he was working for the railroad. They married in Bisbee in 1895 and lived in Benson a short time before moving to Pearce. Andrew Young Smith was employed by the Commonwealth Mine as the head of the accounting department. Yeah, he does, man. came in and bought it all. The Clifford family was in St. David when word of the Pearce strike spread. Henry Clifford, being in the frightening business, saw an opportunity and moved to Pearce. The Clifford family stayed in Pearce until the mid-teens when Henry and his wife Eliza moved to Safford. Upon news of the gold strike in Pearce, Joe Bignon literally pulled up stakes. He disassembled his home, loaded it aboard a freight wagon, and moved it through South Pass. Reassembling the structure at the foot of 6 Mile Hill, ever the entrepreneur Joe Bignon established the first saloon in Pearce. The lavish pioneer opened its doors in March 1896, offering faro, roulette, and the finest spirits. Oh, it looked like the Monopoly man there, guys. At 6 feet tall and topping the scales at 200 plus pounds, Minnie Bignon was first an entertainer, dazzling audiences by performing in pink tights, then an entrepreneur. With her husband Joe Bignon, she owned the Birdcage Theater in Tombstone and later the Crystal Palace. With the decline of Tombstone's mining industry, the couple moved across the Dragoon Mountains to Pearce. Big Minnie found her final resting place in the Pearce Cemetery. News of the strike caused people to pack up their belongings and move. In some cases, they disassembled their homes and carted them to their new location for reassembly. The Prendyville home, 2 small cabins put together, shows how easily this was accomplished. Tapateos, what's up, brother? So they separated these two and then they put them on this location, and that's what they got. That's pretty awesome, guys. All right. Already success. Wait. William D. Monnier worked as Cochise County recorder and school superintendent between 1880 and 1890. May 1890 found him employed as Tombstone's interim mayor. He moved his family to Pearce in 1896, where he ranched and speculated in mining. After Charles Cinder finished his term as Pearce's first duly elected Justice of the Peace, Monmonier took over, working in that capacity for many years. Hey, thank you, Ellie. I appreciate it. Already successful in Wilcox, the Soto brothers and Thomas Chapman rushed to Pearce to set up their general store. In 1896, there were enough people in camp to warrant a post office. It was then that a name was chosen and the camp became the town of Pearce. Chapman, standing in the doorway, was selected as the first postmaster. He stayed at the job for about a year. You know, anytime, you know. If you guys need a bedtime story, can always do bedtime stories. Wasing or Wosing is shown standing in front of his bakery, which also advertises fruits and vegetables. He looks proud and, well, he should. The Chinese in early America were hardworking, fastidious people, providing many needed service to boomtown residents. The 1900 Pearce census gives the names of of at least 20 Chinese residents. Wasing or what's happening? No, just kidding. Standing in front of the Soda Brothers and Renault store, this 14-horse team was a typical way to move goods in or out of town. Horse teams like this were also used to haul ore from the mine to the railhead, located 60 miles north in the town of Cochise. Unfortunately, ain't on mouse. I can't read that one. You know, I can read it to myself, but as far as doing it like this, it says in the book that um, it's got a copyright on it, so I can't do that. Okay, we got a train coming, guys, so gonna give it a minute. Hey, maybe one night, Karen, I could read you one. One of my neighbors got the outside. Hey, we got another new face in chat. Mighty Whitey, what's up, brother? All right, guys. Now we shall continue. Born in Iowa in 1859, Charles Moses Renaud was a shipping agent in Wilcox in 1890. He came to Pearce as an employee of the Soto Brothers and Chapman store. When Thomas Chapman left, Charles Renaud became a partner and eventually sole owner. When the Renauds left Pearce, the store was sold to Albert Roth. In 1940, Charles Moses Renaud died in California. On June 1st, 1900, John Gray set out to take the first federal census of Pearce. It would be the first to look at the makeup of the townspeople and their occupations. It reveals people from almost every state and many far-flung countries, including China, Italy, Germany, France, Japan, the United Kingdom, and Mexico. I have plenty more, Mighty Whitey, that I've got uploaded. So if you'd like to take a look at some of those, you're more than welcome. Free to stay. What's up? Welcome in, man. Yeah, Mighty Whitey and Free to Stay, you guys are now mods now. By the turn of the century, the Commonwealth mine produced more than $100,000 a month in gold and silver bullion. In 1900, a fire destroyed many of the buildings. The blaze was attributed to a change in fuel used to run the mill. Company losses were placed at $200,000. Insurance claims were paid, and by the third week of August, Richard Allen Fullerton Penrose Jr. placed orders in Denver for machinery to continue to work. The mill was equipped with 80 stamps. Power for the mill, hoist engines, and dynamo were supplied by steam generated by 7 water tube boilers. Crude oil remained the fuel of choice. The operation employed 130 men. A year later, the payroll exceeded 200, with shifts going day and night. Show me Sasquatch. What's happening, man? Appreciate you dropping through. Sporting the obligatory pigtail or queue, the three Chinese men lounge in front of their chop shop or restaurant. Some Chinese, to make a quick boomtown buck, operated beneath the law. One such fellow, Quang Hing, was arrested in July 1897 for running a opium joint. Tried in front of Pearce's judge in one year, he was convicted and fined $45. When you get fined today, damn, that fine ain't $45. But $45 back then, man, it's pretty expensive. As one of Sheriff John Slaughter's deputies, Albert Burt Alvord proved his mettle as a lawman. In 1896, he married Lola Ochoa and moved to Pearce, where he was a deputy to Constable George Bravin. Unfortunately, Alvord decided on a career change. In September 1899, he planned the robbery of the Southern Pacific at Cochise Junction. A subsequent robbery went wrong, and Alvord spent time in jail. The decision was made by John Brockman, the first manager of the Commonwealth. And President Richard Allen Fullerton Penrose Jr. to approach the Southern Pacific Railroad and asked that a spur be built between Cochise Station and Pearce. Epps Randolph, head of the Southern Pacific, agreed. The first 6 miles of track were laid by February 1st, 1903, and the last spike driven the third week of May. On May 28th, the first train pulled into the station at Pearce. Built on Commonwealth mine property, this house acted as the mine manager's home. Its large adobe structure was one of the fancier-looking houses in Pearce. It became the one home of Andrew Young Smith and was known in the family as Smith Home Number 3. In the background, both the first schoolhouse and a bit of the newer schoolhouse are visible. Daniel Moreau Beringer used his profits from the Commonwealth mine to buy Coon Butte in northern Arizona. He spent the rest of his life and money trying to prove that a meteorite had created the crater. Unfortunately, Beringer passed away before his theory was accepted as the truth. Today we know it as Meteor Crater. A freight hauler returns to town after making a delivery to the Commonwealth mine. Even with the train running to Pearce, horse and wagon were still used for moving goods. In 1913, 4 mine workers take a break to have their photograph made. From left to right are Eustace Monmonier, Fred Clifford, Charles Monmonier, and George Walm. I'm not sure, free to stay. It's possible. I'd have to check that one out. Snowstorms, though rare in some parts of Arizona, occur several times a year in Pearce, where the above 4,200 feet elevation lends itself to 4 seasons. This 1909 snowfall left the Commonwealth mine and the streets of Pearce blanketed in the white stuff. Okay, if you have to, go ahead and get you a box of crayons there, Mighty Whitey. Could be. Maybe if you Google it, it would tell you. Okay. Buggy and wagon crashes were reported all over town. Huh? David Swadling and Andrew Young Smith teamed up in many endeavors, from investing in a local store to telephone company. But their biggest was the taking over of the Commonwealth mine. As original investors started to sell, Swadling began buying until he owned enough stock to have a majority interest. Swadling became president of the company while Smith became mine manager. Under David Swadling and Andrew Young Smith, seen here, the Commonwealth Mill was completely remodeled and its capacity increased to 120 stamps. Adding a new process, they would be able to deal with lower grade ore. On March 24th, 1910, on the first run through, a fire broke out and destroyed the mill. On April 4th, 1910, David Swadling died in California of complications from diabetes. Hey, I'm glad you like it, Mighty Whitey. I'm glad you guys are all here. You guys are all very supportive subscribers, man. I appreciate it, each and every one of you. You guys are awesome. The fluorine mine just east of Pearce was originally established by W.D. Montmonier, Julius Montmonier, and John Peterson. Around 1909, it was incorporated with Peter Simmons as president, W.D. Montmonier as secretary, and Charles Montmonier as treasurer. Over the decades, other mines would be developed in the area, including the Black Diamond Mine, Middlemarch Mine, and Gold Cliff Mine, to name a few. But none of these had the impact of the Commonwealth. Alright guys, that's going to conclude this one. You guys are going to play some hopscotch. Alright guys, tomorrow I'll be doing chapter 3, and this will be the heydays of Pearce. If you guys have any questions or any comments before I shut down the stream, you're more than welcome to ask. Just want to say you're a great example of community activism. Thanks for doing it, man. Hey, anytime, free to stay. You're awesome too, man. A lot of great people in this community, really great. Pearce, another good one, Jose G. Can't wait for the heyday. Yeah, there's a lot of good people, man. A lot of good people. Whether they're activists or not, there's a lot of good people out here. Yes, community service is very important, man. Public has a right to know what's going on in their community, and you're on the front lines exercising our rights. I'm just glad to be able to do this, man, because not in a lot of places, some people don't like it, and fortunately for me, here they don't really mind, cameras, so it's not a really big deal. and transparency and accountability, man. That's what it's all about. You know, even though they say they have body cams, it's always good to have your own. But hey, that's very cool. That's good, man. That's good. I'm glad. Shit, if I can reach one, shit. If I can reach one person, hell, that's making quite a difference. You know what I mean? Yeah, at first when I started, man, I was kind of timid and kind of nervous, you know, to go out and film. But after a few times, you know, I got used to it, and you know, you kind of eventually work your way closer so that way you can get better content and kind of hear what's going on and what the situation is that's happening in front of you. And you know, like I said, when I first started out, I wasn't the type to get too close or anything, so I just stay, you know, across the street or something. Hey, thank you, Karen. I appreciate you dropping in. And yeah, I do have quite a few old ones that, you know, if you go back and look at my videos all the way to my very first one, you start from there and work your way up. Yeah, I got a few of them, you know, where I'm kind of far away, but yeah, Whitey Whitey. Yeah, I have to go out and go check out your channel too, man. Hey, Miss Jackson, welcome in. I appreciate you dropping by. Unfortunately, my live stream will be ending right now, but the video will be up on public, so you'll be able to view the video. So I do appreciate you coming in. I'd appreciate it if you hit the like button before I shut the stream down. And yeah, I thank every one of you guys. Much love and respect. And we'll see you guys mañana. Peace.